Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining me for this session on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. So I'm gonna pull out my slides and share them as we go along. Yes, so in the normal scheme of things, we will be doing this at the Raffles City Convention Center. However, due to extraordinary circumstances this year, we have to adapt and innovate by bringing the Headhunt Postgraduate Fair live straight into your homes. So speaking of adaptation and innovation, this will be two of the core values that NUS seek to deliver in two of our newest multidisciplinary graduate programs. We will go through them shortly, of course. But first, maybe a brief introduction of NUS. For most Singapore citizens and permanent residents, I believe that you all know a thing or two about NUS, the National University of Singapore. But for the benefit of our foreign friends in this session, as well as to bring you some of the latest updates in our development, allow me to just go through a few slides detailing the background and accolades of NUS. So as you know, NUS is Singapore's flagship university. We are the oldest higher education institute in Singapore. So how it began is that we actually founded in 1905 as a medical school serving the local community. You can pretty much say that we are founded by the community for the community. And that is a purpose and value that we have stuck to for the past 115 years. And yes, in this current year, 2020, NUS is celebrating its 115th year of founding. For more than a century, we have nurtured generations of leaders and luminaries across Asia. Some of these notable alumni of ours include the likes of Mr. Tony Tan, Mr. S.R. Nathan, Mr. Goh Chok Ton, and Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, and of course, many more. So to celebrate this monumental milestone, NUS will be organizing a series of signature events throughout the year. If you're interested, I invite you to visit nus115.sg to find out more. So here's a quote from the NUS president, Professor Tan Ing Chai. I extracted it because I thought it is a rather impactful statement. So here is what he says. The university was founded with a mission to serve the wider community. More than 100 years on, as we continue to build a culture of excellence in NUS education and research, we remain committed to making meaningful contributions to advance society, as well as to create a positive impact on Singapore and the world. Very meaningful words indeed. So moving on from the brief history lesson, the NUS that you see today is a leading university located in the heart of Asia. We have 17 schools and faculties located across 3 campuses in Singapore. And from these 17 schools and faculties, we offer a broad spectrum of undergraduate and graduate disciplines, from medicine, law, public policy, all the way to the social sciences. Globally, we offer 70 double, joint, and concurrent degree programs with some of the world's top universities. Universities like Yale University, Stanford University, Beijing University, and many more. Not forgetting student exchange programs with over 300 universities across 40 countries as well. This next slide is a snapshot of our global footprints. Today, there are 11 NUS overseas colleges around the world in some of the most dynamic cities that you will ever see, like Silicon Valley, Munich, Shanghai, and many more. In the rankings department, NUS has also been consistently recognized as one of the top universities in both Asia and the world. In this slide, you will be able to see some of our more recent accolades. Also, in the latest QS World University Rankings 2020, NUS is once again top in Asia and 11th in the world. So here's another accolade that I believe is worth mentioning. In the 2018 QS World University Rankings by subject, NUS is the only Asian university to achieve a top 10 ranking for 11 subjects. Very impressive indeed. So enough of the past and present and more of the future moving forward. Today, the university's latest focus is to use data science operations research, and cybersecurity to support Singapore's Smart Nation initiative. This was already a very important initiative before, but I believe with the current COVID-19 situation, we will have an even bigger role to play in terms of accelerating this. In fact, as far back as 2015, Prime Minister Lee has already emphasized the importance of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, math in short. You can see that many of our upcoming public infrastructure initiatives and transport projects require expertise and skills in STEM, and this will be a very likely scenario for at least the next 50 years. So with that in mind, the EDB, Economic Development Board, went on to launch the Smart Readiness Index in 2018. NUS was identified as one of the partners in the Index Partners Network. This led to the development of the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, which we will cover very shortly. So before we dive into the two programs, I just wanted to provide an overview of our graduate offerings. NUS has 16 schools, faculties, and institutes offering more than 80 master degree programs. So if you're interested in any programs outside of the two that we will cover later, you can always leave your details in the form, which I will share at the end of this session. So on to the first program that we'll be covering today. A little bit on the Master of Science in Industry 4.0. This is a multidisciplinary program specifically created to help accelerate Singapore's Smart Nation drive. It is multidisciplinary because it taps on the expertise provided by not one, but 5 NUS schools and faculties. The modules are developed and offered by the School of Computing, the Faculty of Engineering, the Faculty of Science, the Institute of System Science, and the School of Continuing and Lifelong Education, SCALE. This is how the program structure will look like. Like most master degrees, you will have to complete a total of 40 MCs, modular credits in short. These MCs will be spread across the 5 core modules, which will constitute 20 MCs, and the electives portion making up the remaining 20 MCs. All students will go through 5 core modules before choosing a graduate certificate of their choice in the electives portion. So as you know, Industry 4.0 is usually a very broad area. So the electives portion is where students can choose their specialization according to their profession or interest. All students will also have to go through the industry consulting and application project, which is a core module as well. To make it as applicable and practical as possible, you will be working on real life projects submitted by participating organizations. Some of these organizations include Dell, JTC, Micron, and many more. So be assured that you will be working with some of the top players embracing Industry 4.0. Next, let's take a look at the admissions requirements. It's pretty standard. We are looking for candidates holding a basic bachelor's degree, preferably with honors, and coming from a STEM background, of course. If your prior qualifications are not conducted in the English language, then you will have to go through the IELTS and TOEFL tests to demonstrate your English proficiency. The program offers both full-time and part-time mode of study. For full-time, it will be anywhere from 12 to 18 months, whereas part-time will be a bit longer, between 18 to 36 months. The current tuition fees for the August 2021 intake, which is the next intake, will be a total of 46,500 Singapore dollars. Do note that this will be a self-funded program, meaning that there will not be any subsidies given by the Ministry of Education. However, for Singapore citizens and PRs, there are some good news. The elective portion will be funded by SkillsFuture, meaning that you will enjoy 70 to 90% subsidy of the module fees based on their respective age and nationality categories. So I also understand that this is a fairly new discipline for an academic program. So for those of you who are curious about the career pathways, I have put together some common career options that you can consider upon the completion of this program. You can see that many of these roles require a holistic understanding of Industry 4.0 as compared to having limited knowledge in just one specific area, like 3D printing, for example. So these are the many wonderful prospects that you can dive into when you take on this program. So now let's go on to the second featured program in today's session, which is the Master of Science in Data Science and Machine Learning. It's a new multidisciplinary program as well, jointly offered by the Faculty of Science, the School of Computing, the Faculty of Engineering, and the School of Public Health. We will be having our first intake this coming August. And judging from the recent application window, the response to this program is very strong, I can tell you. Similar to the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, the program structure will have you complete 40 MCs with 20 MCs worth of core modules and 20 MCs worth of electives modules. Likewise, you will be able to choose from a wide selection of graduate certificates for your electives. I will not go through this part in detail, as this is very much similar to the previous program structure. Sorry. So for admission requirements, candidates should ideally possess a 4 years bachelor degree in the disciplines of quantitative science or engineering. Likewise, if you do not carry any prior qualifications conducted in the English language, you will be required to attempt the TOEFL or IELTS test. This program can be done in either a full-time or part-time mode of study. For full-time, you may take anywhere from 1 to 2 years, while a duration of 2 to 4 years will be required for part-time. Regarding tuition fees, this is a self-funded program as well, and the investment right now will be 45,000 Singapore dollars. Singapore citizens and permanent residents will receive SkillsFuture funding for selected elective modules, very much similar to the previous program that you have seen. So now let's take a look at the potential career opportunities upon completion of this program. Very essential to Singapore's Smart Nation drive will be roles like data scientist, data engineer, and machine learning scientist. And the beauty of this is that transformation, digital transformation, will take place across all sectors. So these roles will be required across a wide variety of sectors, such as the government sector, the healthcare sector, finance, retail, logistics, you name it, basically every other sector. And of course, many more, which are not listed here in this short slide. And if any of you is interested to find out more about how data science or this program in particular can impact our lives in the near future, you might want to take a look at this article written by the academic director of the program, Professor Zhang. You can find the full article at our website under the Data Science and Machine Learning Program tab, or simply Google MSc Data Science and Machine Learning, and it should be the top search result. So with that, I have very quickly, with time management, come to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to direct them in the Zoom chat, and I will try my best to answer them along with my colleagues. If time does not permit me to answer some of your questions, feel free to leave your details by scanning the QR code here, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Alternatively, you can also write to us directly at pgc@nus.edu.sg. And also, if you're still planning to stick around, you can also catch us at Zone 4, where our one-to-one chat is taking place. And if you are looking specifically into the MSc Industry 4.0, you can go on to Zone 5 to catch a masterclass conducted by the program's academic director, Professor Goh. Professor Goh will be speaking about the overview and current trends of Industry 4.0. So let's take a look at the questions that we have got. Okay, I have a question here from this prospective applicant who says that he or she is interested in the Masters of Social Work. Can he or she speak in depth to someone from the faculty, please? So yeah, we have over 80 programs from 16 schools, faculties, and institutes, like I just shared. So for this, I will need to trouble you to maybe scan the QR code that you see here and then fill up an online inquiry form, leaving us with your details, and we will get the advisor from the faculty in question to get back to you as soon as they can. And I'm pretty sure they will be able to answer all burning questions that you might have. So yeah, I have a very important question here as well. That's any financial assistance for tuition fees for the master's program. So yeah, important thing to note that is both of these programs are self-funded. But with that said, obviously the elective portion, like I just shared, are very much covered under SkillsFuture funding. So if you're a Singaporean or you're a permanent resident, you will enjoy up to 70 or 90% funding based on your age and nationality categories. If you are an international student, unfortunately, you will be subjected to the full fees of the program. So there are many, in fact, for the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, all the electives will be SkillsFuture funded. And for the Master of Science in Data Science and Machine Learning, a good portion of them will be funded. So yeah, there will be financial assistance in the form of this funding. So I hope I answered your question there. Okay, I have a question from Joseph Tang. For the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, will applicants from a business background be considered? So yeah, my answer to this is that NUS, we review applications in a very holistic way. So we don't take into account only your academic achievements. So also an important factor when we come to the review of applications will be relevant work experience and so on. So naturally, we will prefer students coming from STEM disciplines in terms of the academic qualifications. But yeah, I will encourage you to also fill up the online form that you can go to from our QR code, leave us your details, and then maybe we can do a more thorough assessment for you after understanding your academic background and also your professional history. Yes, so I have a pretty similar question from Lin Jia Xuan. Can a 3-year NUS BBA meet the requirements for the data science? I assume by data science, you mean the data science and machine learning master's program. So my answer will be very much similar to the previous question. So we review applications in a holistic manner. So everything will be taken into account, your academic qualifications as well as your professional experience. So likewise, do share with us the full extent of your CV or your profile by leaving your details in the online form, and we will be able to do a better assessment for you from there. So the next question I have is about the intake for this year, the August intake for the Master of Science in Data Science and Machine Learning, I assume. Is the intake for August closed? Unfortunately, it is closed. Application window just concluded back in March. So the next intake will be August 2021, and do stay tuned for further updates on our end. Tentatively, the application window will open from 1st December, end of this year, all the way to January or March of next year. So you'll be able to submit a formal application during that window, and that will be for the August 2021 intake. And pretty much similar question from Felicia. Deadline to apply for the program. Is it correct that August 2020 intake is already closed and now it's more for the Jan 2021 intake? Yes, for the first part, August 2020 intake has already closed. Application window has already concluded back in March. And we don't have a January 2021 intake right now for our master's program. If these are the two that you're looking at, if you're looking at any others outside of this scope, likewise, you can leave us your details and we will advise you accordingly. But if you are referring to these two that I just went through, then the next one will be August 2021, and you will be able to apply starting from the end of this year. So Toby Lim posted a question. Does your one-to-one chat include the MCOM, Infocom security? I'm an applicant that would like to talk to someone on the program, please. Yes, I will say the one-to-one session is probably more personalized, but depending on the nature of your inquiry, we'll try our best to answer. And if we can't, we will always get someone relevant to get back to you. So yes, you can either leave your details in the online form, or yeah, feel free to hop over to our one-to-one chat session next door. Okay, Hui Min have a question about the Masters in Data Science. So she do not have a quantitative degree. Can I still apply for the Masters? Will I be at a disadvantage? Are there bridging modules required? So this is, I'm going to give the same answer for this. We review applications in a very holistic manner. So not only your application, and not only your academic qualifications will be assessed. In fact, all of your professional experience, if they are relevant, will be assessed as well. So yeah, just leave us your details and we will get back to you with a more thorough assessment. Okay, I have another question here about the cybersecurity master's program. Basically, it's asking me to talk more about it, the qualifications and career pathway. I can very much do so, but I will need to trouble you to leave us with your details by filling out the online form, because I don't want to take up too much time on this platform. So leave us your details and we will get back to you and maybe we can discuss in detail. Yes, we do have a suitable program for you, and I very much like to get in touch with you to discuss more about this. So please give us your details. So Imran has a question here. If he's a Singapore citizen and above the age of 40, what will be the estimated amount that he will be paying? So assuming that you're talking about the two master's program that I just went through, the self-funding basically applies for the 5 core modules. And when you come to the electives module, you will be able to enjoy SkillsFuture funding for selected elective modules. So if you're above 40, the subsidy that you will be able to enjoy will be a 90% subsidy on the course fees, on the module fees in this instance. So you have to depend what elective you choose. Some of them are SkillsFuture funded and some of them are not, obviously. So a typical module will be 5,004 Singapore dollars, and if it's a lab-based module, it will be 5,008. So when it comes to SkillsFuture funding, we'll look at the modular fees. So likewise, leave us your details, and based on your unique situation, because every applicant is unique, we will be able to advise you further and give you a full breakdown of the tuition fees. So I have a question from Wei Liang regarding admissions for Master of Science in Industry 4.0. He mentioned that he's an educator with a Bachelor of Science degrees and a Master's of Education. So how well or ill equipped is he for this course, and what other courses can he take up first to prepare himself? So naturally, this is a very technical program, Master of Science in Industry 4.0, as you can see from the specializations offered under the electives portion. So depending on what specialization you would like to dive into, maybe you can prepare yourself. If you're looking into something tech related, maybe you can prepare yourself with some programming introductory courses and such. And probably need to find out more about your working experience as well as the discipline of your Bachelor of Science. And your master's will probably come in handy as well. So likewise, leave us with your details, and I'll be happy to do a thorough assessment of your eligibility chances. Okay, Gladys Ho has a question. What proportion of the 45,000 fee structure is made up of electives? Trying to get a sense of the final fees for Singaporean. So it's pretty straightforward. There's two components of the program, the core modules and the electives module. So the core modules is basically 5 modules. If you take a look at the 5 modules, it's basically about 5,004 to 5,008 per module. So that is the amount that is fixed, where you can't enjoy any funding, and the rest are all in the form of electives. So depending on what you choose and whether that specific module is funded or not, you will be able to enjoy SkillsFuture funding from there. So the only thing that's fixed are the 5 core modules. Those are the fees that are pretty much fixed, and then there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah. So Ziyun has a question for me. Is there a suitable data science and machine learning, I think, because she mentioned master learning, data science and machine learning course for candidates with no engineering background? So yeah, my answer to this is that the current program that we are offering is very much for candidates with from a STEM background, and basically more specifically in quantitative science and engineering. So we might have some other programs from the Faculty of Engineering that might be able to fulfill your learning desires in data science and machine learning, but on a different scale. So give us your details and yeah, let us know the scope, the entire scope of your question. Share with us your academic background and professional background, and we will get back to you with a suitable program, I'm sure. So Ting Kai has a question regarding the electives getting subsidies. So he or she mentioned that by only electives getting subsidy, it means that only 4 MCs will get subsidies. How will the course fees be calculated in this case? Uh, to clarify, the whole elective portion consists of about 20 MCs. So if you're looking at a program like the Master of Science in Industry 4.0, the entire component of 20 MCs will more or less be funded by SkillsFuture. So yeah, that's almost half of the program. And for Master of Science in Data Science and Machine Learning, a huge proportion of the 20 MCs will be funded by SkillsFuture as well. So 4 MC is basically just the typical weightage of a single module. Yeah, if I provide enough clarification on this. So To Ki has a question regarding the waiver of courses if he or she have taken similar courses before, example, machine learning. So on a typical scheme of things, we require candidates to possess the relevant background. So yeah, it is a must for you to possess something relevant in terms of academic history or professional experience so that you can be better equipped when you come in to the programs. So if you have something relevant before, I will say it will serve you well in this master's program that you'll be embarking next. But I do not think that there will be any waiver or credit exemptions. But obviously, you will all be dependent on the scale of your academic qualifications in the areas of machine learning. So likewise, you like to have a more proper assessment, give us your details through the online form, and then we'll get back to you. So Daniel Tan has a question. What is the tuition fee for international student for Master of Data Science? So I reckon you're referring to the Master of Data Science in Machine Learning. So the fees for international student will be the full fees of $45,000 for now, but obviously it's payable on a semester basis and not at all at one go. So let me see. So Zachary Lim has another question. For any master degree coursework, if you want to extend by one semester, do you need to pay half of that semester full tuition fees? Let me get the question here, but if you choose to defer your program and have a more prolonged duration to complete the entire course, the tuition fees will remain the same because it's payable on a semester basis. So this will be up to your own planning in terms of your personal schedule or your work commitments, but the cost fees wouldn't deviate much from there. Yeah. So Wilson Tan has a question regarding the Master of Science in Forensic Science. So he's basically asking for more information because our website does not have much details. So likewise, I will need to trouble you to scan the QR code, leave us with your details, and yeah, we have the full program information, and we probably can speak to you on a more one-to-one basis and answer your inquiries. So give us your details and we'll get back to you. So Alvin Lim has a question regarding the criteria or requirement for the SSD subsidy for Singaporean? Well, the criteria is basically that you have to be a citizen, and so it's pretty standard across the board. If you're a Singapore citizen below the age of 40, you will enjoy 70% funding for SkillsFuture funded courses. And if you're a Singaporean above the age of 40, then you will enjoy 90% of course subsidies for the SkillsFuture funded courses. So yeah. Okay, Arifin has a question regarding the classroom-based learning for the two programs. He's asking whether will it be 100% classroom-based, or will we have a variety of flip and classroom training? So yeah, we in the normal scheme of things is a combination of both classroom and lab-based learning, because as you can expect, most of these modules are pretty technical, and they really involve the use of a lab for more practical learning purposes. But in the current situation, a lot of these courses will be, a lot of these modules and the whole course in particular will be done via online methods as well. So I will say that right now it's pretty much in a blended learning form. Yeah, but there will be classroom-based modules such as tutorials and lectures. There will be lab-based learning, and there will also be an online learning component. So John Ong is asking, when is the next intake for Master of Science in Venture Creation, and if there's any scholarships. So yeah, just a brief overview about this. You can leave your details and we can discuss more in detail, but just a brief overview. The next intake will be next year. So August 2021 will be the next intake, and you can apply tentatively starting from year end, 1st December. So it's a self-funded program as well. So currently there will not be any scholarships, but likewise for the elective portion, you will be able to enjoy some kind of SkillsFuture funding for selected modules if you are a Singaporean or permanent resident. So Joseph Lai has a question. Is there any minor ongoing elective or summer certificates that we can take this year prior to moving on to the master's program next year? My answer to this is yes, we have a lot of summer programs and short courses, but whether it can be taken into account or whether it can be stacked up to the master's program will be a different question and story in itself. But if you're looking just for additional learning purposes or upskilling of one before you move on to a more rigorous academic program in the sense of a master's degree, then yes, we have an entire calendar years of professional short courses and summer programs. You can always visit the skill website to find out more. So Go K-Yun has a question regarding the Masters of Civil Engineering and how much is the tuition fee for permanent residents. So yes, we have this program offered by the Faculty of Engineering, and we have the details for you as well. But due to time constraints, maybe I will advise you to join our one-to-one chat next door, or leave your details and we will get back to you. But yes, we have this program, and we will be able to advise you accordingly. I think I pretty much answered most of the questions that I see here. So yeah, huge thanks for Lawrence for compiling this for me so I can go through them seamlessly. So yeah, with that said, I think time is up. It's 3:05, and like what I mentioned just now, I will invite you to join us in our one-to-one chat session if you have any more questions, so that we have a more personalized approach there where we can answer to you one-to-one. Yeah. So Sean, if you don't mind, I'll hand the controls back to you.